Improving tension control is the single biggest and fastest way that you can radically improve the safety, the effectiveness, and the results of every strength training exercise and workout you do now and for the rest of your life. So welcome my friend, Matt Schifferly, back again with another video to help you be fit and live free. And today we're talking about my top strategies for improving your tension control. That is your foundation upon which all aspects and success of your strength and conditioning are built upon, because you can only work at muscle to the degree you can engage it. There's a couple things you need to understand about it first. The first of which is that tension control is just like your strength and your endurance and your mobility and your stability and all these other characteristics of your strength and conditioning, where it's not a black and white thing of you either don't have it at all or you do have it. It's not a light switch. Instead, it's about building upon whatever amount you have already. And second, improving tension control doesn't come from certain exercises or certain routines and things like that. Because remember that being able to use your muscles well is about your focus and your concentration, not your workout or the exercise you do. That's the application of that concentration and tension control. And probably one of the best examples of how this works is if you remember that scene in like Kill Bill, where Uma Thurman's in the back of the truck and she hasn't been using her legs for when she was in the coma and everything. So she literally can't walk because her tension control in her legs is very, very low, right? So she's literally sitting there going like, move your big toe. Move your big toe. Move your big, and you're looking at it like, this isn't doing anything. But eventually she's like, move your big, oh, I got it a little bit. And then it starts moving and then she goes and kicks butt, right? And that's how tension control works, is there's this period where it feels like nothing is happening. And this period can go for weeks, months, hell, maybe even years. And it's just trying. But as soon as you get a little bit more built, then it's a very steep improvement curve from that point out. So, okay, practical strategy now. The first and foremost is isometrics is the easiest way to do this. And this is because whenever we're moving, and the more complicated our exercises are, the more cognitive workload there is on our nervous system to be able to do that thing. And that includes not just tensing the muscle, but your stability and coordination, all these other things you got to do. So when you do an isometric, you basically make things a lot easier and simpler for your nervous system, so you can fully concentrate on tense your bicep, tense the bicep, tense the bicep, tense, and eventually you'll start to have it. It'll be happening a lot faster with isometric, and I recommend overcoming isometrics so that way you can work against a given amount of resistance depending on how much tension you have. So the feedback loop of your brain telling your muscle to contract and the contractile force of the muscle going back with the feedback to your mind is a lot faster. That's why personally, when I started to do isometrics, I made more progress in 2 days using an isometric row to get my back to engage than I had in the previous 5 years of doing other exercises, is because it's so much faster with that feedback mechanism. One of the great things about isometrics is it's practically foolproof. You just do it to the best of your ability and it works. You don't need to get too much in the weeds on programming. Literally, again, we're just trying to engage and contract the muscle, and just that will make it effective. And you can hold for shorter periods, longer periods, whatever you prefer, just as long as you're trying to engage the muscle. That's the thing that makes it effective. The next level is to practice that tension with the dynamic training. So in this case, I recommend utilizing what I call my old PTR method, position, tension, resistance. So before you ever do an exercise, you get in position first, you tense the muscle proactively, because the tension in your muscles is generated by your nervous system. The push-up is just the application of that muscle tension. You're the one making the chest turn on, and the push-up is creating resistance that necessitates that tension, but it doesn't directly cause it. You apply tension to the exercise. And from there, you can be aware of like, okay, I've got tension, but as soon as I move, I lose it. Or I lose it at a certain position, like at the top of a push-up or something. Great, awesome. Now you're getting feedback that's telling you where your tension control is a little bit weak. And again, how do you improve that? You just keep trying to say, okay, I'm at the top of the push-up. Now I'm trying to keep the muscle engaged in the top of that push-up. And that, just that concentration alone will improve that tension control and ensure that the muscles are working better and stronger while also taking stress off your joints. And lastly, remember that tension control is an act of proficiency, which means it's a skill. It's not necessarily something that is going to improve if you only practice it once or twice a week on leg day or when you're doing your push-ups. Especially if you have a really sleepy muscle that is hard to engage, you want to practice it much more frequently and at a much faster pace, preferably many times every single day, because the general idea of practice is that the more you do and the more frequently you do it, the faster you can get better at doing the thing. So that doesn't necessarily mean you need to be doing exercises or anything, but a lot of times just simply the act of flexing and contracting the muscle will go a long way. So if you're just standing here waiting for the bus and I can practice turning on and engaging my chest or your glutes or anything, that's practice. That's going to improve things a lot. And moreover, practice applying that tension throughout your daily work of just using your body. Because remember that your nervous system is always being conditioned 24/7, even when you're asleep, based on what you're doing. So if you can purposely turn on some of those muscles throughout your day, like, okay, I'm trying to use my hamstrings more when I'm walking, when I'm climbing stairs, when I'm getting up out of a chair, that also will greatly accelerate the speed at which you're improving your tension control. And then that carries over into setting the tension and the actual exercises you're doing. Improving tension control is an ongoing thing that makes your workout a lot more effective, a lot more satisfying, makes the exercises feel great, and it also takes a lot of stress out of your joints, so it makes it a little bit safer as well. But getting that practice is another element of your training that can make it a lot more rewarding, as long as we don't just go through the exercises, crossing our fingers and just assuming our nervous system knows how to apply things, because a lot of times that's how we just build up old patterns and a lot of compensatory approaches that can work around our weaknesses rather than directly approaching them. Best of luck in your workouts this week. Thank you very much for watching. Be fit and live free.